Hey guys,
Hey,
what's up?
what is going on? We are live today. We're not going to be playing the Land of Eam. Peter couldn't be with us today, but that's cool. We're going to be just hanging out, answering questions. We hope that you guys can join us and hang out while Ben does a little bit of artwork on the Underlands sandbox map, which is a very exciting project that Ben and I are currently working on.
Indeed, I'm gonna jump right into it. I'm gonna start coloring stuff. I've already colored the Underlands, the Undermucklands up here. This is the region that we released on Patreon, and
Look at it's a beauty, huh?
there are a lot of mushrooms that I got to color.
Yeah. Let's color them individually and tell the story of each mushroom in the forest. Each one is named and has a backstory.
Yeah, that's
Hey,
how
Paul, welcome.
far we go. What's up, Paul?
We are not playing our actual play today. We're actually just hanging out, answering questions to folks, and Ben is going to be doing some artwork on the Underlands sandbox setting map for those of you that are just joining us.
Indeed, just got to get back into it.
Thanks, Paul. We're really excited about it too. It's a big project, and when the map starts to come together is when it really feels real for me, actually, personally.
There's no rhyme or reason to what I'm doing right now. I'm just seeing what happens.
There's some rhyme or reason, you know.
I just want to make pretty colorful mushrooms. You know what I mean?
Well, there is the original Fungal Jungle art, which is your own self-created guideline to the color scheme of the Fungal Jungle, which is cool.
Yeah,
What
making
do you
noise.
think your favorite region of the Underlands actually has been? I've been thinking about this a lot, and I'm not sure exactly which is my favorite.
Uh,
You may be you may be able to sway me one way or another because they're close.
I don't know. I actually do like the fungal jungle. Um, the Undermucklands has the most like people. Everything else is will pretty much wilderness. Question about the campaign, more for James. Do you approach things differently given you were involved in writing the locations and hooks?
Interesting. Do I approach things differently? That's a good question. The short answer is I don't know that I do, but one thing that I think about when I'm creating the locations and hooks or creating some locations and hooks, because Ben creates, locations and hooks as well, um, is that I kind of approach every setting as being like a character itself, like a backdrop where a lot of different elements and conflicts can take place, which makes it easier to create hooks and characters that are in the setting. For example, like the fungal jungle, or for example, the mushroom maze within the fungal jungle. That is established as a dangerous wilderness that's got, for many of the people living under Mucklands that haven't actually seen many of the flora and fauna that are actually dwelling there. You've got the mushroom kingdom itself, which is hidden inside the mushroom maze. And why is it hidden in that maze if it's so dangerous around them? And there's just so many elements that exist in the setting itself that kind of key up like, well, okay, maybe I want to go explore the mushroom maze. I'm an explorer. I'm a zoologist. I'm a florist. I want to go collect some specimens for my shop back in the New Delft City in the Undermucklands. So I kind of approach it as like a setting is a character, and the setting has all these dynamic elements to it, and then create characters and layer them on top, and then create hooks for those characters' motivations and their quests. I don't know. Maybe it's not as short of an answer as I should have given, but that's how I approach it.
I think he's talking about. Sorry, I think he's talking about how do you play it if you wrote.
Oh, sorry, I should have shared it on the screen longer. Yeah, so that's easy because a lot of the material was written so long ago that I can't remember all of the minor details. Like I definitely remember elements of it, and I'll remember a location, or I'll remember a name, or I'll remember an element of a quest. But the details, it's too much material for me to keep in my own brain. I mean, it's like 1,000 pages of material, so it's easy for me to require as many references as Ben does when he's running the game. That's a much better answer to that question. I don't know, Ben, are you the same way? You're always running the game, so you always have the books in front of you. But it takes me a second to have my memory jogged, especially for a lot of the smaller quests at the more remote locations. Like I couldn't tell you the details of the Welcome Post quest, but I know that it exists.
Well, I know that the quest is to establish a Welcome Post throughout the Mucklands.
Yeah, that's all I know. Like I don't remember the names of the characters, although if they were said, they'd jog my memory.
Saigo, Downwaddle, and
okay, I remember. It's like George with the minutes. Like I can't remember what we just played, mostly because my weeks are so busy.
I think my memory is slightly better than yours in terms of this stuff.
That's true. You have like a steel trap brain because you remember stuff that happened like 30 years ago that I can't. You remember that at a book event, a kid said that I look like Guy Fieri, and like I couldn't remember who the person was. Who was that kid? Like somebody who thought I looked like someone funny, and you're like, "Oh yeah, it was Guy Fieri." This
How could you forget
five years ago? Thousands of stupid.
That was questions. Just so funny. That was hilarious.
Yeah. Anyway, I hope that answers your question, Paul. Sorry. Ben and I goofing off. Like, I don't know. Look at all those primary colors hidden in there. You know what I mean? I know. I should have kept my frosted tips and my like hot rod beard and shirt. Anyway, back to the question I had for you, Ben. Is Fungal Jungle your favorite?
It might be.
Yeah, I kind of find myself leaning that way too. Although I have a strong love for New Delve City and the Undermucklands after getting to approach it in detail. New Delve City specifically is a really unique and interesting place in the Land of Eam. It's very different from Bogtown in so many ways. It's like less industrialized, but has elements of like consumerism and an older city. And it's got like those like kind of Blade Runner vibes to it that I like. And then the fact that it has like so many different layers and the districts are so different from each other is cool. It's like I like the tone and the aesthetic of New Delve City.
Yeah, definitely. There's so much happening in the Undermucklands.
Yeah, New Delve City's big too. It's much larger than Bogtown, and Bogtown is like you could have a whole campaign there.
There's also cool stuff happening in Shimmering Shar and Abyss too. I don't want to. There's like more sweeping, epic things happening in the lower parts.
Right. It actually, it's like it progresses into more and more high fantasy epic the farther you go, the deeper you go in the Underlands, which is on purpose for sure. But I think that'll make leveling fun. Like when you start out, you're like in the Undermucklands. Imagine you start out and you're in the Mucklands, and like you're doing some adventuring, then you find yourself delving into the Undermucklands, exploring some of its locations and uncovering some of these quest hooks and going deeper and deeper and deeper until you're literally nearly at Eames' core. It's cool. It was fun. It was really fun to work on. It was fun to write. It's definitely got its own vibe, very much different than the Mucklands. One thing we try to do is
still being a little still having that through line of dungeon corporations that probably won't carry over into other sandboxes,
That's right. When we approached the Under Mucklands specifically, we wanted it to feel like a natural transition from the Mucklands to the Underlands, because the cultures are pretty different. But when you get to New Delve City and when you're in the Under Mucklands, you still have the flavor of the corporations, because this is, their genesis point for the most part. This is where they all started, even though the Mucklands is where they operated the heaviest. Which is cool because it feels organic that way. But it's not very samey. It's definitely different. Have you ever counted how many mushrooms are there?
No way.
Just curious, Mr. Costa. Just curious. Very curious.
A waste of time, in my estimation.
I totally agree with you. Just imagine you're such a perfectionist, though, that you have a spreadsheet. As you were drawing each mushroom, you ticked another one on the spreadsheet.
Really not a perfectionist at all.
That's true.
Just look at these mushrooms. They're oblong, misshapen.
It gives them an organic feeling, though. They can't all be just the same.
Oh, I know.
Oh, I know.
But I'm not too precious about my mushrooms, you know what I mean?
I do.
I'm thinking, the mushroom maze will be super colorful, and then other parts over here, Toadstool Forest will be, maybe 2 colors. And then Darkshroom Forest is very dark.
Yep. Yes, indeed.
But yeah, it's kind of where I come from here. Plus, we're missing all of the locations.
Yeah. Our fungal shimmering shar and the abyss. Port Laguni.
1 second.
There's some little Easter eggs in here too that are in the fungal jungle. For one, you can see that the sputter train tracks up here in the top right-ish hand corner of the map. It's not colored yet, but that's representative of the events of Dungeoneer Adventures 1, the sputter train. So we wanted to make sure that was in there. Obviously, the Mushroom Town, or city, I should say. It's the city of Mycelior is what it's called. Will be nestled really nicely right there in the mushroom maze. And then there's you got some little gems and things, which just harkens back to how the mushrooms are armed in Dungeoneer Adventures. They tend to have crystallized or crystalline weapons to protect themselves.
Yeah, there's there's the crystal caverns underneath all of this.
Mm-hmm. Making those connections is fun, and what makes it a little bit more rewarding for me as a writer is when there's meaning for the connections. It's not just oh, everything's connected for the sake of being connected. It's goes back to where I misinterpreted the question originally with creating the story of the locations themselves, making the backdrop and the setting be this thing that is organic and alive and has its own history, and then on top of that, layering the characters and their own conflicts and challenges and whatnot. I like to work like that because it just feels a little more real, even though it's a goofy Lord of the Rings meets the Muppets kind of vibe.
I agree with what you just said, and I'm adding my 2 cents right now to
Hashtag 2 cents. At James. Ditto. Retweet.
well,
The original fungal jungle piece of art with Rickety and Goo traveling through the fungal jungle is still one of my favorite pieces that you've ever done, Ben. It's like the color palette is all things that I love. It just really perfectly captures the lush, really vibrant, but also variable environment of the fungal jungle. So many different types of mushrooms and colors, and you never know what you're going to find. Whoa, what's this?
I didn't mean to do that. I thought this was the one.
Spoiler alert. You saw it here first.
This is Fungal Jungle art by Rob Gatto, who did, the environment art for a book for the Mucklands. And, he's doing Underlands art. So this is brand new.
This is brand new, and we love it. You saw it here first. The Fungal Jungle. I love the path. And how there's mushrooms and little mushroom caps like growing out of every surface. And it's definitely got a foreboding vibe too, because it's so large.
This is what I was trying to get.
Yes, this is the piece. This is one of my favorite pieces of Land of Eam art ever created.
So this just is fun. It seems fun to it's going to be fun to explore the fungal jungle.
Yeah.
I am making it quite bright, but I think that'll work better for the map.
It will. Plus, there's different biomes even within the fungal jungle. I mean, it's in the book. There's going to be exactly like you were saying before, where this may be a little darker over here. Or this may be a little brighter over here. Or this may be monochrome or 2-color. Thank you, Paul. I love the mushroom umbrella too. I want that umbrella in real life.
I wish we were able to write a story with Rickety Stitch, actually doing this stuff.
The only people that can stop us are ourselves and our calendar. With the calendar, our creative calendar is the only thing in the way of creating more Rickety Stitch stuff right away. I like the river. The river creating a barrier between the center and the other parts of the fungal jungle, I think, is also excellent. That's an excellent design idea. Not just for its gameability, but for its obvious visual separation of the different elements.
Mm-hmm. Should I draw something? Should I work on something else? I don't know.
What else on your plate? Critters?
All this.
Oh.
No, I mean focus on something else. Is mushroom coloring tedious?
You could jump to Shimmering Char if you want to go crazy. Do some flatting. Shimmering Char is cool. Shar is seen in the Dungeoneer Adventure series, and you know, is the Shimmering Shar my favorite now that I think about it? Because there's so much that we came up with for the Shimmering Shar that we didn't get to share in Dungeoneer Adventures, just from a practical standpoint, from telling the story. That being able to add it to the to a sandbox really opened a lot of doors for coolness and a lot of depth to some of the lore that's partially illuminated in Dungeoneer Adventures, but it's stuff that we actually fleshed out but didn't get to fully put into the book. It's kind of like, I mean, I don't want to compare myself to Tolkien, but it's like all the elements that went into the appendix or the Silmarillion that don't show up in the narrative because they don't fully belong there. The sandboxes allow us to indulge a little bit and put more depth into to gamify it, but to also allow players to have their own adventures and create their own myths and legends themselves that are taking place in these locations, which is super fun because you see on the Discord people experiencing all the different things in the Mucklands sandbox their own way, and how it goes is like, that's Ben and I love reading that stuff because it's just like, wow, like that, what a fun way to deal with that, or what a fun adventure or fun tangent or direction that went. It's cool.
Yeah. And I totally support you, like, comparing ourselves to Tolkien.
I mean, we're definitely inspired by Tolkien. Like a two-headed Tolkien and Jim Henson combination.
I'm just experimenting right here, I don't know.
It's important to experiment. You should do like a Bob Ross voice. Happy little experiment. Try it out.
Yeah, I want to make each region feel kind of unique. You know what I mean?
I do know.
And also sometimes when you just mess around, you get some happy accidents, happy little trees.
Ain't that the truth?
Maybe add some red and orange.
Red and orange.
You know what I mean? Just
I do.
This place is quite cold in parts. There's snow.
Shimmer snow.
These are dunes of snow, shimmer snow.
Love it. There's that chasm.
Chasm.
Mm-hmm. That's the proper pronunciation. Chasm. Of the crystals, like piled up. The organic look of them growing out of the ground is great.
These are caverns of ice.
Very cold, and they're cold. Those blues and cool colors.
as you mentioned, I'm just like, blocking colors in. This is not anywhere close to finished.
Yeah, it's stepping stones. Like anything like this takes steps. You can't just do it all in one sitting. It's got to be proceduralized to a degree. Ben, what do you have you felt a difference between working on the Mucklands map and the Underlands map? Like, what has changed for you?
I feel like it's a lot different. It's like, um, like it's all underground, so I want to maintain at least the feeling of being underground,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to like bright swaths of land. That's why I'm sort of wondering how the fungal jungle is going to turn out, if it's going to look too bright or something. Um, but and then just the drawing of the map was really actually difficult, giving it the illusion of delving
Yeah, it's
from the
layered.
top to the bottom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's layered as opposed to being a flat land.
Yeah. So those are the
Yeah.
two biggest things.
Paul asks, has the actual map layout changed much since you started working on it?
Yes. The Undermucklands was very based on the Mucklands. So like the location of Dungeoneer Academy and Thurf are totally based on Dungeoneer Adventures Book 1. Like where Coop was pointing on the map.
Mm-hmm. We wanted to give it that continuity.
And Thurf is right directly below where Thurf is. And Point Matrix is below Subterranean Pits and Layers. This area is right by a river in the Drippy Downs that connects to Muckland Harbor. So it's all together like that. I think, Paul, you might have said that was it you that overlaid on your own to like see if that was the case?
If so, that's really cool. That's something we should do. We should like make like an animated GIF of the overlay, so people can fully see like this is beneath the Mucklands.
But it's not like one for one because
true.
Everything is.
You're delving, yeah.
Yeah.
It was, yes, Paul. You're a genius.
Yes.
That is awesome.
So yeah, it has changed, especially in that way. Just making sure everything lined up. And
we talked a little bit about how different the Underlands is from the Mucklands, and how there's that transition region of Under Mucklands, how it like transitions some of the tones and themes of the Under Mucklands and then gives way to new tones and themes. How would you describe how the Under Mucklands is thematically different from the Mucklands, Ben?
in terms of the map, or
both, like in terms of like the vibe of the place, the setting, the map itself. The map clearly is quite different.
I think it's like a lot more. The players are going to be delving into the unknown. Like beyond the Undermucklands, the stuff is like rarely explored by anyone in the world, like especially the Abyss. And the Shimmering Shar is very much a like dwarves maybe visit it, but other than that,
some mold warps.
Yeah. But they're sort of like native. Unknown.
Yeah, they're sort of unknown. They're natives to these darker places. So, I mean, deeper and darker places. There's quite a lot of peril. in the Underlands, like because not just because it's so unknown, but because there's things to be discovered that haven't been considered or thought about or, even seen for generations and generations by anybody, which is fun. So there's a lot of secrets to be uncovered.
There are a lot of dungeons.
Yep, there's a ton of dungeons in the book.
Like
I don't even know how many, but there's got to be hundreds of rooms, right?
Yeah, we're going to need to count them.
We haven't done that yet, but there's a lot of dungeons. Much, much more dungeons than there ever were in the Mucklands. Look at those deep purples. I love watching you work in your favorite color palette. It's like Eternia colors. Oh, it's a beauty. It's a beauty.
There's lots of magma. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
Need a brighter magma. Larva. Oh, that's the problem. There we go. Okay.
Look at it. Larva.
Magmars.
Speaking of which, there's a lot of new adversaries in the Under Mucklands as well. They're 50?
There were going to be 40, but there are, I think, going to be a few more than that.
40 plus.
All of them are designed.
Paul wants to know if there's going to be more dungeon rooms than mushrooms on the map. Ben, we need a live count. Let's lose let's lose everyone watching the stream by doing a live count of all the mushrooms in the fungal jungle. Yeah, there's a lot of dungeons, and we have actually fully completed the list of new adversaries that can be faced. Not that you won't find old adversaries in the Underlands as well, but there's a bunch of new stuff, especially in the fungal jungle, Shimmering Shar, and Abyss. Those were really fun to work on because we got to delve into, pun intended, we got to delve into some of these unknown, forgotten, not yet discovered by anyone who's not from there creatures and critters, which is always fun to do.
Yeah, and there's a ton of stuff from Dungeoneer Adventures.
Mm-hmm. That's now got stats and
Kragnarks and your Stygobiters and your
King Delvers.
Yeah.
Your Moldwarps. A personal favorite of mine.
Those aren't really adversaries, though. They're
That's true. But they're folk, and they live down there. They'll be encountered. Nice. Paul says he's looking forward to throwing a Zarachnarar at his players. Will be able to do that. There, I can confirm there's Zarachnarar.
There's some fun lore that we made for that too.
Yeah.
Like there can only be one Apex Zarachnarar, so now that it's killed as of Dungeoneer Adventures Book 1, like the eggs start to hatch like all over the place.
And then they will vie to become the champion alpha predator. A lot of big creatures too. Zarachnarar is not the only large adversary that exists. There's more Dungeoneer Adventures lore that the Abyss is filled with titanic creatures, and players will be able to explore them and see them and hopefully not get squished by them. Yeah, Dungeoneer Adventures is a great place to start with like the Underlands. There's so much of So much of Dungeon Adventures gets fleshed out from a lore perspective by this book that it should be it'd be fun to pair the two. Look at the lava there, you know what I mean?
Yeah, just doing stuff like that's helped me visualize what's going on and better.
Good old subterranean volcano. Lakes of lava. Lava lakes. Lava lamps. It's not actually a volcano, it's a giant lava lamp. It was created by dwarves.
That's canon now.
Wow. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. Oops, I closed.
True. So
Sorry, I was reading comments.
this is
Mm-hmm.
My brain is farting.
Good.
Volcanica. Is this Volcanica? Or is this
Good question.
Volcanica?
I think Volcanica is below in the abyss. I could be wrong. I don't actually have the sandbox open.
Oh, yeah. This is the Burning Field.
That's right.
But it's sort of an important place in terms of Dungeon Adventures lore.
Wow, we got a Georgie Higgins coming in hot. Where is my hex on the map? George, that's the beauty of your hex. Your hex can go anywhere in the fungal jungle.
Yeah, it's in the fungal jungle, man.
It can be triggered anywhere in here. We were just talking about the fungal jungle like 15 minutes ago or 20 minutes ago.
George is
Welcome
doing
to the
adventure.
stream, George, by the way. Yeah, George's adventure. I have read it and it's awesome, by the way. So all of you that have been requesting for George to do his 6 hexes in a movie, Hex 1 is on its way. Hex 1 is on its way. Which means there'll be a new hex every year for 5 more years.
How's being a father, George?
George is a new dad. He's confirming first that we are 1/6 of the way to the movie. Oh, I want the movie so bad. Fatherhood is ridiculous, he says. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I wasn't prepared for this. It's a lot. It comes at you fast.
Comes at you fast and hard.
Fast and hard, and it turns your world upside down. Almost like going from the Mucklands to the Undermucklands. Okay.
Oh yeah, totally know what you mean, man.
I love me a lava fall, by the way.
Gotta have your lava fall. Okay.
That's awesome. Gets you in your Arby's spot. Arby's. We have the meats. Stream was not brought to you by Arby's, though. It's brought to you by Nork's Noodles. They're pretty good. I forget what the... They're okay. It's somewhere in the sandbox, right? There's like a tagline for Nork's Noodles. They're all right. It's something like that.
We should just steal the... Where every fart's a gamble.
Arby's, where every fart's a gamble.
And by steal, I just mean something that we say about a place that already exists.
Nork's Noodles, where every fart's a gamble. That's gross.
But funny.
It is funny. It is funny. A fart joke is not beneath us.
Not even a shark joke.
That's true. Because that is a shark joke. Can't trust the fart. Can't be done. And we are off the rails, folks. It's George, and he's not wrong. He's not wrong. Anyway.
Just
back
add
to
George to any conversation, it's off the rails.
Yeah, George he's a wild. He's a live wire. He's a live wire, that George. So is Peter. I mean, Peter, he'll go off the handle. You won't be able to reel that guy in. Ah, Paul, that's what I'm talking about. It's a sandbox. There are no rails. Yes. Well said. Like a poet, sir. What was your inspiration for the Fungal Jungle and the Underlands?
Fungal Jungle, I believe, just started with the pun, or not the pun, but just like the
word
the
play.
rhyme, the wordplay. We needed a place for... I don't know. I don't actually know. I'm making stuff up right now.
Well, I can speak to it a little bit because there's like an element of like there's like a vibe that you would get from like Journey to the Center of the Earth or like The Land That Time Forgot kind of stuff, where there's this impossible lush biome beneath the earth in a way that doesn't make any sense. And like I love the idea of, you discover you're going through caverns and caves or whatever, you open up this big like wilderness of impossibleness that I thought was a great idea. And then it being fungus and mushrooms and stuff. I mean, I'm a mushroom guy, I love mushrooms and the mushroom people in Land of Eam and their culture. George.
But all that we came up with after, I mean, it started with the print, like, because that was well before anything was ever done.
Yeah. Yeah, Fungal Jungle was definitely like organically said, and then it all spiraled. But what it ultimately became, I think, is this really interesting... Wow. The comments are amazing. George of the Fungal Jungle is so good. That's got to be a quest.
Well, if
That's
the
two Brendan
Mucklands
Fraser
was
movies.
like any indication, when we put together this the Underland sandbox in layout, there's going to be like spots for new quests and stuff just to fill out the pages. So make a note, George of the Fungal Jungle.
This is a totally viable path for a call-out adventure that we have to make happen no matter what the cost. Can't let that go. It's too good. It's canon. And it'll be the only place in the entire sandbox where the NPC is a photorealistic drawing of George Higgins as George of the Fungal Jungle. And
but it'll be George as a boggart.
Yeah. But it'll be photorealistic. It'll be like Uncanny Valley, like kind of weird how real it looks. Because it is real. Look at that. It's amazing how alive it becomes when you start to flat some of the colors over it, give it the transitions.
Yeah, I'm still...
George insists that he sits for the portrait in a loincloth. Just like George of the Jungle. He's a Land of Eames Tarzan.
What
is that, Morganite?
This is Tackleberrium.
Wow. I think pink feels more like it would be Mahonium.
It's true.
Sweet Chuckerite. I don't know where that list is, but I gotta find it. George says that in the photo, his face will be the same expression as Vigo the Carpathian. From Ghostbusters 2. A classic. Tackleberrium. Do we even explain that joke? I guess we have to.
Well, first I want to ask Paul.
Callahan name.
If he has looked at what area is it in the river country? Capstan.
All right, this is an epic moment. This for me, where we illuminate
Capstan Riverwatch Command Center.
As long as it's not Peter McNichol's freaky nanny face. That's gives me nightmares. Oh, it's funny. You guys are too funny. You're killing me. Anyway, there's a hidden reference in the... it's not so hidden for those that know what they're looking for. But there's a hidden reference in the Muckland Sandbox at the Riverwatch in River Country for who the NPCs are based on. That's all I'll say. And your only hint on the stream is Mahonium and Tackleberrium. Which, for the right people, will be enough to totally understand the joke. It's a joke that I know that George Higgins understands. But all of our projects have like very occasional references to things that we find funny or that are very specific little homages. And the sandbox is no different from anything else. Look at these crystals, yeah. The rock candy forest. Raspberry, lime, cherry, bubblegum, dessert mint.
Guava. It's gonna be tricky to color in the end. Like the down here, the crystalline desert.
Yeah. You may have to do like, I don't know how to accomplish this, but what does it say? It's like a prismatic almost, because it's like dust of crystals or whatever. I forget.
Yeah, I think you might have to have like glittering.
Yeah.
Dots. Like Dippin' Dots or something.
I'd have some Dippin' Dots. What's the kangaroo one? Kangaroos? Is that what it is? Chocaroos? What is it?
You mean like the snack thing?
Yeah, the snack thing. I can't remember.
Dunkaroos?
Dunkaroos.
It's like a ancient memory.
Yeah. Dunkaroos. Tim Russ coming to Crystalline Desert. Wow.
Maybe they should be like a layer,
I do. Gives it a little something. You know what I mean? New Delft City. There it is. Shimmering shower.
How long we've been going almost an hour here.
I know. It's wild. Flew by. I love watching VR production. I can just watch this forever, to be honest. But yeah.
To those viewing, I promise that this will look better in the end. This is just early stages of
I
coloring.
don't think you need to preface that, man. This is stages.
Let's end the stream. Thanks everyone for coming and hanging out with us. And
yeah, for sure. Thanks for all your questions and hilarious comments. We really appreciate it.
Yes, I suppose we should say we never revealed what we're talking about with the Riverwatch and Capstan.
We left breadcrumbs. At least I left breadcrumbs for people to figure it out.
Yeah, if you figure it out, leave it in the comments of this video. And
thank you, Paul.
Enjoy that. Thanks,
Appreciate
Paul.
it. Yeah, and huge thanks to everybody that supports our Patreon. It's the best way to support us, really. And this is Cap Senator watching a high tower. Oh, Paul, you're after my own heart.
He's got it.
He's got it. So yeah, again, like thanks to everybody on Patreon for supporting us. It's like one of the best ways to support us. It doesn't just support us streaming and actual plays. It supports the creation of new books and sandboxes like the one that we're working on with the Underlands. So huge thanks to all of you folks. And we're going to have some updates about the Land of Eam coming really soon. So stay tuned to Discord, stay tuned to YouTube, and check your email.
Indeed. And we're going to have some new Patreon content in a few days now. So
we'll do another video about that. We'll I love you too, Georgie. Love you too, buddy.
Thanks for hanging out, Georgie. We'll catch you next week, hopefully.
Indeed.
All right.
We'll catch you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.